Our topic tonight is American Problems, Islamic Solutions. We will try to address how Islam can present solutions to the problem this society faces. Our first speaker is Brother Hamza Yusuf.
I believe that we are witnessing a civilization in death throes. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that He brings life to the earth after its death. Something has to fill the nihilistic void, because nihilism is ultimately a spiritual crisis. It's my contention that Islam is that thing that can fill that void and transform not only these people, but the Muslims themselves.
Our next speaker is Brother Mazen Hashim.
To understand America, if you want to solve something, you need to understanding first. If it is a disease, you need to diagnose this disease. That's the first prerequisite, understanding America. The second is to have a sense of belonging to America. If you do not have some kind of sympathy to America, you cannot deal with American problems. And here I like to mention that Islam has no national identity. Islam is not restricted to a land or a time. These two prerequisites, understanding America and sense of belonging to America, I think, should be reflected in our literature, because some of our literature reflect alienation more than vision, or some of our old literature. I am happy to see new books with new flavor and new orientation. Now, after understanding, recognizing the prerequisite and recognizing in general terms the nature of American problem, we can proceed and put and imagine the basis for approaching the solutions. What are these bases? I have 5 of them. First, we need to perfect the American ways. And specifically, we live in America with the country of packaging. The American culture is fond of packaging. And many Muslims do a lot of good deeds, and really, in fact, they do contribute to America, but they do not present themselves the way that is appropriate to this country. So we need to work on our packaging system. Second, we need to proceed in our approaching the problem in open participation with the mainstream efforts. Third, we need to redefine, reposition, realign our institutions. More specifically, I like to mention the political activism. The political system is part of the American body, and if we need to be politicians or political activists, we need to share on all levels. Fourth, we need to address America with a civilizational message and not with the details of Sharia and fiqh. And that's very known in Islamic literature, that, and it's logically, you cannot address a person with the details of a system that he or she does not believe in the first place. We need America to understand. Quran says about Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in defining his mission that we have sent you but as mercy for the world. We need to address America with such address, with such messages, not with the details, not of our Sharia, and definitely not with our penal system, like whatever the punishment for fornication or theft or whatever. And finally, we need to understand a divine law, which is graduality. Things do not happen like that. We need to go gradual, and we need to accept the gradual improvement. Things cannot turn upside down in one shot.
Our next speaker is Dr. Ilyas Bayunus. He is known to all of you. He was ISNA president in 1983, 1985. He is a professor of sociology at State University of New York.
The day will not be very far when, if not our children, their children may be on the road to become Americanized, and the day they become Americanized, it means that they will behave like their fellow children behave in schools and in colleges and in the neighborhoods wherever we live. When a man comes home at 6 o'clock, takes some cans of beer, sits in front of the TV, and drinks beer after beer can, and then he gets up, beats his wife and his children, and yells, abuses at them. This is not a problem, this is only actually a symptom of a problem. The main problem actually is that American society is one of the most materialistic societies in the world. And many of us Muslims who came to this continent did not come here for the sake of spreading Islam. We actually came here, most of us, for the sake of greener pastures, better living. We were not starving in our countries. Most of us were not starving in our countries. Actually, the very educational and professional composition of Muslim population in United States and Canada shows that we were some of the very best educated even in our own countries. Back home, we were already doctors, engineers, professors, accountants, businessmen, and so on and so forth. We came here for, most of us, that is, came here for purely materialistic reasons. And to the extent that materialism is spreading, like my brother said, like a disease in our body, the body politic of the Ummah, then the day is not really very far when Muslims will become assimilated in this society, and there really will not be any distinction between Muslims and non-Muslims in this society, except for those very few brothers and sisters who are flocking around the platforms of ISNA and ICNA and Warisuddin Muhammad and Jamil Al-Amin and Siraj Wahaj and many other small and large platforms like this. And because we are so very few, therefore we have to take a very aggressive approach, which is suggested by this title. We have to take a very aggressive approach, not only toward this society in which we are living, but also toward other Muslims with whom we are related in religion. We have to do the Dawah. How much Islam have we been able to give to our neighbors, to our students, to our friends, to our colleagues where we work? And how can we really give it to them if we run away from them, maybe afraid that they will ridicule us?
While the brothers get ready, I will read a written questions I received addressed to Brother Hamza Yusuf. It says, you gave wonderful khutbah, but you did not prescribe the medicine to the sick. Instead, you scolded the sick and called it virulent kufr. You also presented yourself and the Muslim in America as a threat rather than loving, caring saviors of our beloved country.
I believe it is virulent kufr. I think it's spreading all over the world. I think when we have American television in Mecca and Medina, and people in those holy places watching LA Law, I think we're in serious trouble. And as far as a threat goes, absolutely, I believe that we are a threat. I do believe that. If Islam is not a threat, something's wrong with your Islam. And if you don't believe that, read the Quran, because everywhere the Anbiya went, they were persecuted. Why? Because it threatens the existing social structure. And then the last thing, loving, caring saviors of our beloved country, America. Well, I'm from America, and I'm sorry, it's not beloved as far as I'm concerned. I think this is one of the most treacherous countries that ever existed, and I'm going to be honest with you. I think what this country did in Iraq, what this country did in South America, what this country did to the Native Americans, what this country did to the African Americans, what this country, I mean, my land, what is that, America, my land, tis of thee, or whatever. I don't believe that stuff. That's why I became Muslim. And if you want to tell me that's not Islam, well, I'm sorry, I studied Islam. I spent a lot of time studying Islam. And I don't believe that. I don't buy that. I don't buy beloved America. This is a very sick country. It's a very diseased country. And unfortunately, the Muslims now are suffering from the sicknesses in this country, you see. I mean, really, look at your children. And you're the best of the Muslims. Look at your children. I've sat with them. I've talked to them. I've taught them. I mean, we're in serious trouble. These are serious times. I mean, it's not a joke. It's not, you know, this is reality here. That's what we're talking about. So, anyway, mashallah.
We want to hear you more, but we want to hear the brothers. I think we might agree or disagree on whether we love America, but all of us will agree that we love to save America.
You see, we have people working at the highest levels of defense in this country, for good practicing Muslims, building smart bombs, that end up on Abdullah's head. That's where they end up, on Zainab and Abdullah's head, and little Hussein, who's 5 years old, in Baghdad. You see, so people you have to question, what are you doing? You see, I'm not here to make mujamala. I can be a nice guy and say, us Muslims for a better America, and be a nice guy and do all these things. But I'm sorry. You know, sometimes the pill's bitter. So, jazakumullah khairan. I also want to apologize because I'm not usually this nasty, but I'm sleep deprived.
I'd like to ask you, in this country, young Muslims, they're looking for specific answers, whether it's earlier today, ikhtilaf, mixing between men and women. All they hear is, what feels right to you is right. If you don't feel bad about it, then it's probably good. I don't think this is what people want to hear. I'd like to ask you, what stands in the way of producing real scholars in this country?
And I believe that Muslim children should have a deep foundation in the book and the sunnah. University in this country is indoctrination. That is what it is. It is higher indoctrination. If you go into that indoctrination process without having the worldview of Islam, you will come out thinking like a kafir. Whether or not you're praying 5 times a day, you will be thinking the way the kuffar think, because it's their methodology and you're in their arena. And we see the results that their educational system has produced.
Thank you. Yes, brother. Quickly, please.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Rami. I'd like to make a short comment on the issue of society's problems and applying Islamic solutions. This issue can be taken back to the Aqidah.
I'm timing you, brother.
Yes, just 30 seconds and I will wrap it up immediately. This issue can be taken back to the issue of the Aqidah. We believe in Allah, that He is the Creator. He created us to worship and to glorify Him. Now the issue here is that Allah did not create us and put us on this earth in America to improve to improve the American society. He did not place us here to improve the American society. He placed us here to establish His deen, to establish and implement His system. And the Prophet ﷺ showed us precisely how to do that. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you.
I had a brief question and a brief comment to the brother right there. I forgot his name. You spoke about presenting and packaging Islam to the West my comment is that if we present Quran and Sunnah in its pure form, not in this watered down, a moderate version, is the best way. And if you care to comment on your concept of how to present Islam and package it to the West. Jazakallah khairan.
I didn't mean to change the Islam and present it to the West distorted. What I meant is when we introduce whatever Islam, whatever we have to America, to anybody, we have to follow the correct methodology. We need to follow the hikmah in introducing our subject. That's what I meant. It's common sense, and
we Muslims actually have the duty to invite ourselves and others toward good that Islam actually is. There is no escape from it as Muslims. So much so that the responsibility is so much that if I do not carry my message to a non-Muslim, I do not have an authority to call him a kafir. Because kafir actually is the one who first listens to my message and then he defies it arrogantly, like Abu Jahl, like Abu Lahab. Inna allazina kafaru sawa'un alayhim a'anzartahum am lam tunzirhum la yu'minun. These are the kuffar. But if I haven't given my dawah to them, you see, how can I blame them? That is the thing. And my duty, I think, is to outreach the population which did not hear the message of Islam to begin with. So before even I blame these people, these who are corrupting the resources and polluting the resources and who are attacking us, their political leaders or whosoever, making wrong judgments about calling us names, fundamentalist, whatever, surely they will go on doing it because we did not give them the dawah to begin with.
Thank you. Yes.
My name is Mauzam Sayed from Fort Worth, Texas. I appreciate giving me this time. Brother Hamza, I came here to this because of that title. I wanted to know what I can do as a Muslim for a better America. I wanted to have some steps. I am one of those people who are doers. I'm not a philosopher. You are. From you or from the panelists, I wanted that. But I got a little confused. What the message I got is, as far as America is concerned, it is taghut, it's a gone case. I cannot do anything. That's the message I got from you. The country I left, it denied me that was an Islamic country, that is still an Islamic country, full of ulama, full of mashayikh, who always got us into emotional issues, but that country denied me the means to survive also. I didn't even get one job there. This country gave me that opportunity. And I want to do something for the people of this country. And the other thing is that you, a white American or a black American or a yellow American, you are so lucky you don't realize it. You are able to select and stand and think freely. And it has given you us alim like that. I am proud of you. There are so many things nice you have taken those selections, made those selections.
Yeah, I think the point
still
is
want
well
from
made.
you those steps that I can take to serve you, serve myself, and serve this country. I don't believe that this country is a gone case. We can do and do a lot.
عليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. أهل السودان أهل الإرهاب terrorists from Sudan. The New World Order. So, right. Just to answer the brother about America and opportunities, an American might say, well, you took a job away from me, so go home. Right? Yeah, there's a lot of unemployment here. You want to do something to help the unemployment? Go home and give an American your job. You don't like that, it's not very nice. Well, what you can do to help America. What could you do to help where you came from? Did you think about that? I mean, that's an interesting question just to think about, what you could do to help where you came from. But there are things you can do. One of the most rewarding experiences I've had is going to the prisons and meeting Muslims who, like the Persian poet said, went to bed worms and woke up the whole vineyard. So if there's prisons in your area, go to the prisoners and give dawah. Muslims don't give dawah here. This is a reality. I know Muslims that have worked for years in a company and people don't know they pray. People don't know they pray. So if you are open about your deen to be, and then I want to also just say, because I want to clarify one little point here. There are people here, they're wonderful people, there really are. My parents are really great people, they're not Muslims, but I'm sure there are many Americans like them.